I'm about to teach you something that most men go their entire lives without learning. It's a thrusting technique that targets exactly where a woman needs stimulation to climax intensely. Not the gentle kind, the kind where she reaches a total physical peak and can't speak for 10 seconds afterward. This is the power thrust method, and once you learn it, she won't forget you. And today, I'm breaking down 5 specific techniques that make up this method. Some are small adjustments, tiny changes in angle or rhythm, but the difference they make is massive. I'm saving the best one for last, the 8 to 2 method. That's the one that actually triggers the intense climax, so make sure you stay until the end. Let's start with the biggest mistake I see. You go in with that first stroke nice and slow. Good instinct. But then, for some reason, you think you need to go deep and fast immediately after. Like you're trying to prove something. Look, we've all been conditioned by what we see on screens. But that's for the camera, not the bedroom. It's a performance, and it's usually the first thing that kills the actual connection. When you go for fuller engagement right out of the gate, you disconnect from us almost immediately. Let me put it in terms you'll understand. Imagine jumping straight into an all-out sprint without any warm-up. No stretching, no preparation. Just full intensity from the first second. That's how it feels for us when you skip the build-up. Women need connection first. Actually, we need to feel you there with us, not just performing some routine you think is supposed to work. So here's what the power thrust method actually starts with. Go slow. Stay close. Maybe you're kissing her deeply. Maybe you're nibbling on her neck. Maybe you're just breathing together and letting the tension build. You don't have to go in right away. In fact, don't. Tease at the entrance. Let her feel you right there, without giving it to her yet. The first few strokes should be slow, intentional. You want her to feel the weight of it. Think grinding more than thrusting. There's a time for power. This isn't it yet. When you do this, you're building crazy sexual tension. You're drawing out the anticipation. And when those powerful strokes finally do hit, they hit so much harder because she's actually ready for them. She can feel what's happening in her body. She can invite you in. That's what builds real arousal. That's what helps her open up. That's the foundation of everything else I'm about to teach you. Now, the second part of the power thrust method, angles. Most guys are just going straight in and out. You're missing so much. The internal walls are incredibly sensitive, all of them. When you only thrust straight in, you're ignoring most of her pleasure anatomy. Try this. Angle your hips slightly to the right, then switch to the left. You're going to hit completely different areas. You're going to awaken spots she didn't even know she had. Chances are, she's going to respond strongly to one side or the other. Pay attention. Her body will tell you what's working. When you find that spot, stay there. You can do this in missionary, doggy, when she's on top. It adds friction and sensation she's probably never felt with anyone else. Part 3 of the power thrust method. Aim up. You need to be hitting the G-spot. And if you don't know where that is or how to target it, this is going to change everything. In missionary, put a pillow underneath her hips. Prop her up. This changes your angle, so you're naturally stroking upward instead of just straight in. You're hitting that G-spot over and over with the curved motion of your stroke. You'll know you're in the right place when you start getting audible feedback, rhythmic signs that tell you the stimulation is landing exactly where it should. When you're intentionally stimulating the G-spot, you don't need to increase intensity right away. Gentle, consistent pressure works. However, when she's getting close, when she's asking for more, that's when you build the power. Make sure she's asking. Don't assume. Let her guide you. Ask her how it feels. This isn't about your ego. It's about taking her somewhere she's never been. Now, part 4. This is what ties rhythm into the power thrust method. You need to alternate between slow and sensual and fuller engagement. Nobody wants one speed the entire time. That's boring, predictable. We want contrast. Go slow and connected. Build up the intensity gradually. Then back off. Slow it down again. Make her think you're teasing her. Then hit her with deep, intentional strokes that take her breath away. It's that rhythm change that pushes women over the edge. It's not one mode on repeat. It's controlled variation, knowing when to give her more and when to pull back. And through all of this, you need to be communicating. Tell her how amazing she feels. Tell her how much she's turning you on. Your voice is what anchors her. It keeps her in her body instead of drifting off into her head. Your rhythm keeps her in pleasure. Your voice keeps her connected to you. Now, before I give you part 5, the 8-2 method, I need to talk about something important. None of these techniques work if the blood flow isn't there. It's basic biology. Especially as we get into our 50s and 60s, the nitric oxide levels just aren't what they used to be. You can know every technique in the book, but if your body isn't responding the way it used to, none of it matters. You need strong, sustained blood flow to perform the way you want, to have the control you need, to last long enough to actually execute what I'm about to teach you. This is where I want to mention something that can actually help: organic watermelon extract. Watermelon contains a compound called L-citrulline. When you consume it, your body converts it into L-arginine, which then becomes nitric oxide. More nitric oxide means better blood flow. Better blood flow means stronger, more reliable performance. To be fair, you'd have to eat pounds of watermelon every day to get enough L-citrulline to make a real difference. That's not realistic. And the sugar would work against you anyway. Concentrated organic watermelon extract gives you what you need without the sugar. It supports the blood flow that makes what I'm about to show you actually possible. Because knowing what to do is only half the equation. Your body has to be able to do it. Okay, now here's part 5, the one I told you to stay for, the 8-2 method. This is the technique that actually triggers the intense climax. Here's how it works. You do 8 shallow strokes, staying within the first 1 to 2 inches. Then you do 2 deep, intentional strokes. And here's the thing, deep doesn't mean reckless, it means intentional. Why does this work? Because the majority of a woman's nerve endings are actually within those first 1 to 2 inches inside the vaginal canal. Most of her sensation is right there at the entrance. Those shallow strokes build tension. Those deep strokes release it. And that rhythm, that contrast, keeps her in this "I need more" energy that builds toward the kind of climax where she reaches total physical peak. Here's a bonus move. During those shallow strokes, pull out completely and stimulate the external nerve endings, just for a moment. Then slide back in. Honestly, that move alone can push a woman right to the edge. It keeps us guessing, and it feels incredible. Combine the 8-2 method with the angles, the upward stroke, the rhythm changes, and you've got something most women have never experienced. That's the full power thrust method. Very few men do this. Be one of them. Look, every woman is different. What worked with the last partner might not work with the next. You're not supposed to magically know everything. Ask. Let her tell you what feels good. Encourage her to communicate with you. That willingness to listen and adjust, combined with the techniques I just taught you, that's what separates forgettable from unforgettable. Try these tonight. See the difference. I'll see you in the next video.